Oh my god, Paul is in two places at once. He's a sorcerer. That actually would explain a lot. Hello everyone, I'm Dan the Man. Well, another week in the books and what is possibly going to go down as the cursed season of Big Brother with the way things keep going. So with that, let's get into this week. First off, Paul winning head of household. A lot of people said them getting a Candy Crush themed competition was more stacking the deck in Paul's favor, given that he was on Candy Crush in an episode that aired this past Sunday. For anyone confused, it was pre-recorded, hence how Paul seemed to be in two places at one time. Honestly, I've been calling out Big Brother for trying to keep him around and help him go deep since I started, but this one's a stretch. The competition may have been themed after Candy Crush to help promote it, but as far as the actual competition, it had nothing in common with how the game was played. In actuality, they clearly designed it after a competition that Big Brother Over the Top had last fall. Paul did host that competition, but I doubt it gave him much advantage, if any at all. Paul won because most of his alliance, which is the majority of the house, kept handing him their tickets once they got him, so he had a lot more tries than everyone else. It's on those people working with Paul that they wanted to take the safe way out and have Paul get rid of Cody instead of them, which is clearly what happened. Which brings me to my first thought on Paul's head of household. His idiotic, moronic, ridiculous, cocky, head up his ass initial plan to put Matt and Raven up as pawns, which they didn't show most of, but he spent all night defending that move, not listening to anyone, even though most of them clearly saw it was a dumb plan with a lot of unnecessary risk. It wasn't just that Cody or Jessica could get picked for the veto, win, and keep the votes the same, thus Paul loses an ally, but Alex and Jason could have also been picked, and neither of them were on Paul's side either. And given that they were targets, I doubt they would have been in a big hurry to help get out Cody, who was basically their shield at the time, so everyone could go back to targeting them. If you want someone out, put them in their top ally out so you have a backup if they go down. If you want to use pawns, use two pawns who are not working with you, in this case Jason and Alex, so if it backfires you still get out a threat. This is Big Brother 101. And the fact that someone who is touted as a great player with a brilliant social game, who many people argue was robbed of his just rewards last season by not winning, would make such a stupid move, baffles me even as I make this video almost a week later. It was such a ridiculous idea, a lot of his fans who refuse to see he is not the Big Brother god they want to believe he is, were lecturing this was clearly a clever plot to break up the couples without it looking like he did it. An inside job type of thing, they said. And honestly, I was starting to think that too, because I just didn't see how Paul could be that stupid. But as time went on, it was clear he in fact was all about taking Cody out, and that was his legit idea of how to do it. I've said it before, and I should have reminded myself this time. When a Big Brother player does something, and you think, what an idiotic thing to do, never fall in the trap of trying to convince yourself it's an actual convoluted stroke of brilliance, because they will always let you down, and the real answers will always be that they're an idiot. Paul did change his mind, but it came suspiciously shortly after he left the diary room. It wasn't near as blatant as some other clear manipulations from the diary room had been, but I have a feeling they might have nudged him into realizing he was being an arrogant idiot who was on the verge of pulling off one of the dumbest Big Brother moves ever. Either way, he eventually wised up and put up pawns. Don't think Alex or even Ramses particularly wanted Cody gone, but they saw the writing on the wall, so at least Paul didn't put up his own allies. Ramses using his curse was the wild card, but a risk they had to take. I think he picked the best week to put himself up, as even with most of the house not trusting him, and him making them trust him even less after the veto competition, Cody was just too big of a threat for them to leave him in the house, so he picked the right time. If he waited until the following week, which he then would have had to use it for, he likely would have been going home that time. Which brings me to Ramses not being trusted. Like a lot, I feel bad for him because honestly, those guys think he did everything short of kill Kennedy. Most of it he's innocent of, but he did do some of it to himself. His slinking in and out of rooms is way too reminiscent of Andy from season 15, especially for a house with so many fans in it. It's possible he's not meaning to do it, and it just looks that way, but it did not plant a good picture. It's part of the reason no one believes him when he denied voting Jillian out last week. And while he is innocent of most of his accusations, he did pull one that probably hurt him more than anything. He lied and told the house he saw a banner flying over, saying Mark and Dom were in an alliance. There was no such banner, and for some reason I don't get, Big Brother outed him, so they all know he lied, which basically confirmed their suspicions. Don't know why Big Brother did that. Usually they'll let a lie stand. Maybe someone outright asked production if the banner went flying by, and they felt lying for him was them interfering in the game. And of course, production never acts in a way that could influence anyone's game. Here's a picture of the Riley sisters. No reason. Ramses is getting dumped on for a lot of things that aren't his fault, but he has made some bad decisions. If he doesn't watch it, they're going to bite him in the butt real soon. And before I get into the voting question, I want to talk for a minute about the temptation. The Ringer replacement is an interesting temptation and way better than the last one. Yeah, it's less powerful than 3 weeks safety, but if they're going to do this idiotic twist, I prefer temptations that can affect the game, but don't completely change everything about strategizing. Although I'm not sure how much Christmas getting it will affect the game, because as we've seen, she can't even play in a lot of the competitions, so it's only going to be relevant if it's a comp she can compete in, which basically will mean a mental competition. Kind of feel bad for some fans, since when most of the votes were cast, she wasn't injured yet. I'm going to reserve commenting on her condition more in this video, as I don't want to spoil the oncoming episodes beyond what I normally do, and more on that will definitely be covered next week, so I'll have more to say about it in the next video. The whole thing's a mess to be sure. I thought at first it was unfair she got to pick who was cursed instead of it being random like last time, but wearing a frog outfit is not like having to put yourself on the block, so it's not really that big of a deal. One thing I did notice about the next temptation is that it's going to be the last one. Personally, I'm thrilled this idiotic twist is almost over. Although while I'm not a big fan of fans affecting the game, I do think Big Brother should have told everyone, at least when putting this temptation up on their website, that it was the last one. I know a lot of people who didn't vote for who they necessarily liked the most, or wanted to help the most, holding out for a better one later, thinking this would be like the care packages and Over the Top, and go on all season. But they decided to tell us after the voting period is halfway over that this would be the last one. Hey Big Brother, this is why people think you make this up as you go along. So with all of that out of the way, on to the votes. Before I get into if the house guests made the right choice getting out Cody, I want to address the votes themselves. I'm sure a lot of you were surprised to see Ramses get 3 votes. I know I was. Jessica's was pretty much a given, but the other 2 were a surprise. So if anyone was wondering what happened, I took to the forums and message boards in order to get to the bottom of this little mystery. So what happened? Well, Paul told Kevin to vote for Ramses, intending to try to put it on Jason. This is the second time he's got Kevin to do that, and I've got just one question. Does Paul tell him when to wipe his butt also? I mean, seriously, does he not see Paul as getting him to do the hard stuff for him at a minimal risk to Paul himself? I thought with age came wisdom. Secondly, this was a dumb idea. Kevin is not the master liar he would appear to be. People bought it was Ramses last time because they already didn't trust Ramses. But Ramses obviously didn't vote this time. Casting a Hiki vote once and trying to pin it on someone is one thing. But casting it 2 weeks in a row and trying to pin it on a different person each time is ridiculous. No one's going to believe Jason cast a vote for Ramses when everyone knew Cody was going home. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, he would have preferred Ramses go over Cody, but Cody was going home. He knew it, and everyone knew he knew it. These cocky moves by Paul are going to get him caught if he keeps it up. So what about Christmas vote? Well, despite what people thought, it wasn't the painkillers talking. She told Elena before she left she was going to vote for Ramses to cause paranoia. Unfortunately for her, Elena ratted her out shortly after the live show. So Christmas likely just stepped in it, as Paul the control freak is especially not happy she did that. Word of advice, you 3, if you're going to cast a hinky vote, don't tell anyone. So moving on to Cody. Was he the right choice? Up until the night before the vote, I was thinking the couples and Dominique would be smarter to keep Cody and vote out Alex or even Ramses. Much as I like both of them, Cody, despite his going behind his alliance's back, was not much a threat most of the week. He was almost surely going after Paul, Christmas, or maybe Josh. So why would they get rid of a lightning rod who was not going to act against them and will not win this game, while keeping in 2 people who they could not trust and were both bigger threats to win? But while they would have all voted him out anyway, Cody went on to kill any argument that it would benefit the majority of the house to keep him around. His turning on Mark and lying about him made Cody someone who might go after them, and at the very least could and would hurt their game. So after that, there was no reason anyone should keep Cody, even if they were willing to put up with his crap. But aside from Jessica, Jason was the only one voting who had any real reason to want Cody to stay. But aside from obviously not having the numbers to make it happen, he was even less likely to do that with Alex on the block. Obviously, with the battle back competition, Cody could come back in. And despite what the live show would have you believe, they all suspect there's going to be a battle back. But not keeping him didn't really reduce the risk of anything. So best to vote him out anyway, and worried about him coming back when and if he actually comes back. Who knows? Maybe the competition will be Big Brother Trivia and Cameron will win. Or it could be... what's Jillian good at? Oh, I know. Maybe it'll be an on the block and do nothing to help your chances of staying competition. No, wait, Cody would win that one too, wouldn't he? You know, they really should be prepared for Cody to come back in. So for my final bit of business, the head of household. They didn't show the end of the competition on the live show, but as usual, I got the spoilers. So if you don't want to know, stop now. Really, stop now. Last chance. Alex won the head of household. Not the best choice for the majority of the house, but I'm sure they were all glad at least Jessica didn't win it. Not sure who she'll put up, as she has been all over the place prior to the head of household. She was talking about wanting to break up the couples, but she told Jason the night before the HOH competition if she or him won, they should stick to the plan to vote out Ramses. Okay, seriously, people? If everyone waits for someone else to do the risky part, no one is actually going to do the risky part. I'm just saying. On top of that, Alex made a deal with Elena, who amazingly was the last one up with Alex, to not put up any of Elena's people, which would make putting up a couple even more risky, as going back on a deal made during an endurance comp almost never works out well in the long run. Alex will likely be pushed to take out Jessica or Ramses and make everyone happy. They're the safest options for Alex in that it wouldn't make her more of a target than she already is. And based on how she has been acting, I think she likely will go that route and try to get them out. Although with Christmas being caught with the hinky vote, she might become the target instead. My guess is, as a whole, Alex will go with the majority so long as they don't make her target Jason or maybe even Kevin. Even then, she still might go with the majority and put one of those two up, but at that point she would be hurting her own game doing so she'd probably have second thoughts. I can't blame her for not wanting to rock the boat when she is already a target, but at the same time, while going along with the majority does minimize her chance of going up next week, making a bigger move and taking a shot at the majority alliance, while it could definitely lead to her being on the block next week, would also give her a better chance of actually winning should she survive, as she could use it to shake up the house and set up some strong allies for herself if she plays it right. It's a matter of if you're playing to go far or playing to win. I had hoped Alex would be the latter, but like most superfans, making the jury seems to be too big of a temptation to jeopardize. It looks to be another crazy week in the Big Brother house, and I'll be back then with my thoughts on who goes on the block, who goes home, who wins head of household, the battle back, and whatever wackiness these yahoos get themselves into along the way. Thanks for watching. I'm Dan the Man. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.